Hey everybody, it's Monday, June 22nd. This is Scouting the League. It is officially break time for teams across the NFL, though if you have any interest in quarterback Brendan Sorsby, you are probably still working. Today, I talked briefly on the supplemental NFL draft as well as Brendan Sorsby. Stick around for that. Tomorrow, of course, it is draft series, and we look at running back Ahmad Hardy from Missouri, a bruiser who certainly has a chance to get his name called, so don't miss that one. Make sure you head back, listen to all the archives wherever you are listening and watching. And with that draft series, as well as today's, head to YouTube, get that video portion in there as well. While you are there, of course, subscribe and comment. That really helps us out. Make sure you head over, give me a follow at RightStepADV on Twitter, and check out my website at rsafootball.com. Scouts and aspiring scouts, now is the time. It is break time. It is the time for you. Teams are not evaluating and developing you like they should. So join us at thescoutingcommunity.com to get some of that evaluation and development. Head over, sign up, reach out, ask questions. Let us know what we can do for you, and let me know what I can let you know as far as all the sources and information I already have. Reach out. Let's find a way to make that evaluation and development a major part of every NFL front office. And then make sure you go over, check out our partners over at bluemaca.com as well. Use code SCOUTING20 while you're there to let them know we sent you. Get the insoles that will upgrade every pair of shoes you have, whether it is for plantar fascia support, art support, that turf toe support, or you just need some recovery insoles. Make sure you get them there. That non-slip has to be part of every pair of shoes you're training in. At bluemaca.com. You can get them. Use code SCOUTING20, like I said. So, the NFL supplemental draft. No player has been drafted since 2019. Jalen Thompson, a fifth rounder that year. We have not even had an NFL supplemental draft since 2023. A few notable names in the NFL supplemental draft history. Of course, there was Josh Gordon, a 2012 second rounder. Terrell Pryor, a 2011 third rounder. Ahmad Brooks, a 2006 third rounder. And the last first rounder, Dave Brown, a 1992 first round pick of the New York Giants at quarterback. Of course, Terrell Pryor was the last quarterback taken. There's not been a player taken above the third round outside of Josh Gordon since Tony Hollings in 2003. So with Brendan Sorsby officially part of this 2026 NFL supplemental draft, here is what you need to know about the NFL supplemental draft. Of course, we've heard plenty of talk on that NBA lottery system. Should the NFL adopt it? Well, we've got the closest thing I think the NFL will ever adopt. The way the NFL supplemental draft works, again, we're going to slot teams into three categories: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1, there are 10 teams a part of it. These are the worst teams in the NFL. You're talking not very many wins. They were at the top of the draft. They should have been at the top of the draft, depending on where their draft picks went. 10 teams a part of tier 1. They're going to get put in a pool. Tier 2, you've got 8 teams a part of that pool. Again, teams that won a few more games. They were not playoff teams, but kind of fit in that middle of the first round category. And then you have your tier 3, 14 teams. Again, everybody that made the playoffs, all the teams that had a number of wins, win divisions, all that kind of stuff. So you've got your tier, you've got your 3 tiers of teams. And now the lottery portion is tier 1. We're going to take a lottery. We're going to draw your name out of a hat. These 10 teams are going to go order 1 through 10. They're going to get that first crack at Brendan Sorsby. Tier 2, same thing. We're going to take these 8 teams. We're going to draw them in order, and we're going to have 1 through 8 as far as that tier 2. Tier 3, 14 teams, and we're going to draw those. Again, what you are doing, where you're falling in that drafting, it ultimately doesn't matter, especially for those top rounds. Again, we haven't had a top supplemental draft pick. Again, maybe Sorsby becomes that guy. I'm going to say we're going to wait a little bit. Everybody's going to have a crack at this guy because I don't think he's going to be a first rounder. But again, that is the way that lottery is working. So again, everybody's going to have a chance. Everybody's doing their work. Again, I think all 32 teams have to at least consider this guy because he does have good traits. This guy is an NFL quarterback. He does look like he belongs there. So 32 teams are going to do their work. Again, maybe the character, maybe the unknown is going to keep enough teams off the board. But again, what are teams doing now? Again, the background and character are the big things. The film is easy. It's easy to go back and look at the film. Teams have probably been looking at the film for a couple of weeks now at least. That's the easy part. The film is the easy part of this evaluation. The background and character is what is going to be really, really hard. Again, you're talking about with Brendan Sorsby, a double transfer. Started his career at Indiana, redshirt year, was kind of a backup part-time player, had some good solid numbers. From there, he jumps into the portal and heads to Cincinnati for 2 years. We'll talk about his numbers at Cincinnati. Of course, he was a transfer to Texas Tech this past offseason. Of course, we didn't ever see him on the field there. But again, you've got 3 schools that are going to have different reasons and different, we'll say, justifications for not sharing information. Indiana, this was a staff at that time that probably doesn't know this kid. Most of that staff has turned over. You're going to be trying to call that Indiana group that is everywhere across the country now. What did you know about Brendan? Try to remember back on that. Again, they may or may not have reasons to share any good or bad information. So, yeah, I just don't really remember it much. He was a young player. Again, a good recruit. Again, he was a highly rated recruit, probably 3 to 4 star. Again, I think he was a number 14 overall dual threat quarterback. But again, as a redshirt, wasn't a guy that stepped in, was expected to do a lot. Again, was part of kind of multiple quarterbacks there that Indiana was trying to figure out. So again, it's going to be tough to find information. Again, a long time ago, though it does sound like there was some gambling going on even at Indiana. What was known, who was known. Again, there's always going to be a level of protect our institution. If we knew something, we could be indicting ourselves. There could be a lot of, we don't know much about it, and we're just going to pass it off. With Cincinnati, there is definitely reason to, hey, we didn't know any of this was going on. As they've kind of said, again, they are going to certainly highlight the goods of the players. Man, he was awesome in the room. He was doing everything. We didn't know about these off-field issues. That was kind of his personal time. But again, Cincinnati is going to have good reason to say good, positive things. And again, with the Cincinnati staff, we've seen some change. Again, that staff that's up at Wisconsin now. Again, Luke Fickell. Again, there's been change. There has been some turnover. There are some people that were around Sorsby that should still be there. But again, you're talking about how much can we share? How much do we want to share? How much did we actually know when it came to Sorsby's character? And of course, Texas Tech, man, it's going to be really hard for them to give any information. Again, the player was on campus going through work. But again, are you indicting yourselves? Are you talking about that information? Again, there's going to be the people at Tech that knew him are going to be the go-to sources. But again, it's going to be hard to get information out of this. So again, that becomes one of the major issues for Brendan Sorsby and NFL teams, is just that pure unknown. There is going to be a huge unknown element to, again, who he is, how bad this issue is, how much do we actually know about the player if we're going to bring him into our roster at the most important position in all of professional sports. So again, Brendan Sorsby, again, going back, spent 2 seasons in Indiana, redshirt in 22, passed for 1587, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in 23 in some limited time. Again, from there, started 12 games each of the past 2 seasons at Cincinnati, went 64%, 62% completion percentages. I'm going to go ahead and roll some film for you as we talk about Brendan Sorsby. Again, we're going to look at some passing here for him this past season. So as we continue to talk about Brendan Sorsby, again, you've got a guy that went 64%, 62%, good percentages. Again, any more you really like to see in college, that 70% number. Again, with the way the RPOs, the quick game, the way the 60% used to be the standard, that number has certainly gone up. Again, you talk a 45 to 12 touchdown to interception ratio. Those are good numbers as well. You've also got 205 rushing attempts in his last 2 years, almost 5 yard per carry average. You got a 6'3", 235-pound player, good size for the position. As we dig in on the numbers, the completion percentage was really inconsistent. You saw everything from, again, really low numbers beginning of the year at Nebraska. You saw some low numbers at the end of the year when Cincinnati lost 4 straight starts of his to end the year. You saw really poor numbers, really poor play against Utah. And then even in games where they lost, but his numbers were okay, the completion percentage was down 40, 50%. Again, the consistency matters more at the quarterback position than any other position. Again, you want to know what you're getting. Again, teams that draft highly, draft developmental guys, okay, the inconsistency, Anthony Richardson's, the guys, Ty Simpson, hey, the highs are high, the lows are lows. We got to create more consistency. For Sorsby, the consistency is all over the place. add that to all the other questions, it's certainly going to affect his profile. When you start talking about the traits now, this is a good player, a good to very good traits across the board. Natural thrower of the football with his right hand, really natural delivery. It comes out easy, it comes out quick, it comes out natural, comes out over the top. Really nice throwing motion, mechanics, has a good setup, good drop in the pocket. Man, this guy plays and looks like a quarterback should play in the pocket. He can make every throw. He can throw outside the numbers. He can throw deep. He can throw with touch. Again, the traits from a throwing standpoint are consistently good. Again, this guy can throw the football. Again, where you get back into that inconsistency, when the game speeds up, when the defense speeds up, when situations speed up, this guy also sped up. And really what you want is the opposite. You want that quarterback to take a breath. We're going to slow this offense down. We're going to play within ourselves in this offense. We're going to get everything slowing down a little bit. And that was where, with Sorsby, I thought everything else sped up with him. His timing, his footwork, you saw some jitters in the pocket a little bit. He was trying to speed up with the game, which led to high throws, led to some missed throws, some missed reads, some poor decisions where, again, man, I've got to play so fast. I've got to get the ball here and throw it to the other team. Certainly not a good thing for him. The decision making, the patience, he trusts his traits. He makes throws he shouldn't sometimes. He gets impatient trying to drive the ball, force the ball, all that kind of stuff. So again, everything comes down to that consistency. Again, this guy, there are stretches where it looks good, it looks nice, everything looks good. Again, the touch, the consistency, the accuracy. Again, there's stretches where it's good, but again, you turn around, it's like, all right, where did Brendan Sorsby go? Where did this version of Brendan Sorsby go? Again, this guy in this 2026 quarterback class, again, you could certainly make the case this is quarterback 3. I don't think he ultimately overtakes Ty Simpson in this class, because Ty Simpson's highs were high in the SEC. Again, you're going to knock a guy like Sorsby for playing in the conference with some of the defenses he did. Right or wrong, it's going to come up. I think Ty Simpson still ends up in front of this kid, but this kid could be quarterback 3 in this 2026 draft class. Again, I think ultimately this is a 4th round type player. I think this guy is, because of the unknowns, because of the questions, but with the good traits, I think 4th round is where he's going to go. And again, 4 teams, they're going to have a hard time getting all the info. This is where, as NFL teams have gone younger with their scouting staffs, are going to hurt themselves. Veteran scouting staffs are going to have a lot better feel for this, because again, back in 2022 and 2023, good scouts were taking notes on this guy that looked good, that flashed. The ball came out of his hands at the University of Indiana, probably started to grab some notes. Again, at 2024 in Cincinnati, I'm taking notes on this quarterback, because again, veteran scouts are going to do it. Veteran scouts are going to have more resource. Veteran scouts, people that have been around, been through the schools, cut their teeth, done all these things, are going to have more information. Veteran scouting staffs are certainly going to have more and better, more complete information. Again, 4th round, I like a lot of what this guy does. This is a top play. This is a guy that can win in the NFL. But with Josh Gordon going in the 2nd round, you knew what you were getting with Josh Gordon. A lot of these guys, academic issues, maybe an off-field, maybe eligibility questions. There was a lot of these guys, yeah, we knew what we were getting. Yeah, he tripped, he stumbled, he did this, he did it. Josh Gordon, yeah, we know we just have to get the substance abuse under the control. But with Brendan Sorsby, what and who are you getting? You're talking 9,000 bets over the course of about 4,000 or 5,000 years. That's 4 or 5 years. That's a lot of time and a lot of effort being put into, again, looking at books and looking at numbers. And that is the question, not what, but who you are getting with this kid. So many questions. I do think it's going to come down to what team feels the best about the unknown they're getting. I think this is 4th round. I thought the Chiefs were a fit, not only because of, again, they can sit this kid, they can develop him. Yeah, they do have a pretty good looking quarterback room. Justin Fields, Garrett Nussmeier. Why not bring another one? Again, gives you, again, does Justin Fields end up being the backup, or is it Garrett Nussmeier? Is it Brendan Sorsby? Again, they're a franchise that has consistently shown that they know how to deal with players with off-field concerns. They have certainly done that. Again, I think the Packers are certainly a fit, because again, you don't have to worry about anything on the field with this kid. They do have a need at backup quarterback. Browns certainly could make a play. This guy, I would argue, is as talented, more talented than anybody on that roster at quarterback. I'm also not going to rule out two teams in the Jaguars and the Ravens because of the high level of traits and because of the rooms and what they want to do, both front office and organizationally. I think those teams could be in play as well. Ultimately, I think this guy is a fourth round player in the supplemental draft, going somewhere and as sitting for at least a year before we ever see him step on the field. But don't take my word for it. Let me know, where do you think he goes at Right Step ADV? Head over. Let me know what you think. While you're there, make sure you give me a follow. Tune in tomorrow as we talk Ahmad Hardy of Missouri. Let me know what players you want to hear, what you want to hear about, where you want to hear them in that 2027 draft series. And in the meantime, make sure you keep scouting.